At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
I'll just take the whole Kensei, or no, not Kensei, Mike. Me. Who am I giving directions to? Yeah.
Sup, nerds? It's basketball. Welcome to Horse, a basketball podcast about everything except for the wins and losses. My name is Mike Schubert, and I'm joined by my trusted co-host, my beloved 2025 NBA Cup champion New York Knicks, being on a big, awful losing streak to them then beating the Brooklyn Nets by 54 points and setting a franchise record for most significant margin of victory and lowest points that an opponent has scored since 2016 or something with 66 points. It's Adam Mamawala. Adam, how's it going?
It's going well. I have just one question if you don't mind.
Sure.
Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn
couldn't
at?
Tell you.
Nowhere to be found.
Tell
they scored 66 points in a game.
That's ridiculous. And I think there was something where it was like the previous lowest was also the Nets, like 67 points 3 years ago or something. So it's been tough. It's been
terrible
tough
team. Well, the best way to avoid the highs and lows of having a good run, having a bad run, you could just be the Bulls. As we record this, they are 22-22, a perfect 500. All ready for their next play-in tournament. Second game loss. That's going to be my prediction, as is custom. To the Heat somehow.
Yeah, it always death, taxes, the Heat, and the Bulls finding a way to be in the play-in tournament. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we've got basketball to discuss. Let's go to the Teal Memorial locker room to discuss it. It's a great place to discuss basketball. Oh, yeah. And you know who's great to discuss basketball with?
I'm going to say our patrons. Shout out to all of them, and especially to our producer-level patrons.
Yes, shout out to Polly Burge, Salvatore Testa, Siobhan Ellsbury, Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls, Bang, Bang, Roast Beef Debris, Denver Steam Nuggets, Anna Reed. Steph Curry has a new shoe sponsor.
Have you heard about this?
No, I missed
Bang,
this.
And also what's going on, that's your hint, the first ever on-brand. They were called On Court.
Oh.
He was wearing Ons the other night. I don't know if he wore them in the game, but he was seen warming up in them. So this could be some big breaking news because they've really taken over like the running and lifestyle brand.
And they're doing a bunch of tennis shoes. I know, like tennis, the sport tennis. And unlike these heathen parts of America that call running shoes tennis shoes, Texas does that.
My mom, I think it's a Midwest thing. Tennis shoes.
Insane. That's insane.
I know.
Like I'm New Jersey. We all call them sneakers for that kind of thing. Is that where you're at? Like,
yes,
like athletic shoes. Okay,
totally.
That feels so much more normal. Like in Texas, they call that tennis shoes, which is wild to me. Like that because there are tennis shoes that exist,
right?
Like for tennis.
It's very weird. Yeah,
you have to have these weird, like roundabout conversations where people will be like, "Oh, grab your tennis shoes." Well, not your shoes for tennis. Your tennis shoes, like. It was so weird. It's so wild that the place that has the best way to greet people, y'all, which just like covers everything and offends no one and can be about one person, a small group, a big group, deliciously perfect, that they can also refer to sneakers as tennis shoes. The most unhelpful thing. It's wild.
Absurd.
Absolutely
But to bring it all the way back around, bang!
Mm-hmm.
We still haven't finished our patrons.
If On starts doing basketball shoes, it'd be very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Chase Underulo, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby as a vampire, Chelsea's cousin, Ginger Spurs boy, Balls to the Walls, Mats Forley, Utah Jash, and Derry Bird. You know who else is helping in the basketball conversation space, potentially?
Well, I mean, they're helping us afford to be able to talk about basketball, so I would say they're helping. It's our sponsor, Shaker and Spoon. Tell us about them.
Look, sometimes also people want a little liquid confidence before they talk about stuff, get a little loosey-goosey. Get that with Shaker and Spoon. You go to shakerandspoon.com/horse. You get $20 off a box where you can provide the liquor. They provide the everything else. And then you're making mixed drinks and stuff. You will have enough to make 4 servings of 3 different drinks that all use the same booze. And then you can have a fun craft cocktail with friends and talk about hoops or life or both. But yeah, go to shakerandspoon.com/horse to get that going. But now we're going to cut for some locally inserted ads. Unless you're listening on Patreon, where we just keep things moving and grooving. Now's that time. We'll take a little break. Unless you're on Patreon, not taking a break. Adam, what do you got going on?
All right, I've got some new updates and a couple thank yous in order. I have been true to my word of writing down the names of the people that I meet. So I want to thank Jacob, who was formerly known as producer-level patron Lobster Biscuit. I met Lobster Biscuit in Fort Collins when I did a show in Colorado. I also saw Denver Steamed Nuggets, a.k.a. Lisa Hill, who very kindly came to my show and got to witness me having a full panic attack as I was both performing and trying to follow the Bears-Packers playoff game, which they did ultimately win before, of course, breaking my heart, but that's a different story. And then I did meet a horse listener in London. You know this person's name, and I didn't write it down, but who did I meet?
You met Lada and Vero Bartova, who are longtime supporters and listeners of my shows. I don't know that they're the most avid horse listeners as opposed to some of the nerdier podcasts, but enough to know what's up. And I believe they just happened to be in London at the same time you were. And they were like, well, obviously we'll just pop over.
Incredible. Yeah. Pop over sounds like a British pastry. There you go. Yeah, or just an everybody pastry. So,
it is a pastry that exists. I know that. I don't know where it's from, but it exists.
Yeah, why not? All right, so upcoming tour dates. Some of these you've heard about before. Some of these you have not. On Saturday, January 31st, I'll be doing a show in Beacon, New York. The venue is probably going to change, so just keep an eye on my website for that. Thursday, February 5th, I'll be in Tampa, Florida at the Tampa Funny Bone. If you're in the area, please buy tickets for that. They have an annoying deal where they're like, if we don't sell a certain amount of tickets by 2 days out, we're just not going to do the show. So I would very much like for that show to happen. So, please buy tickets. Then I've got a Texas run. I will be at the Creek in the Cave in Austin, Texas on February 12th, Dallas Comedy Club on the 13th and 14th, Houston, Texas, performing for the Schuberts, the Elder Schuberts.
They will be there.
The 15th of February. And then, let's see, these are the new ones. I've got a show in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, which is the Berkshires. That is on Saturday, March 14th. I will be taping a special for Dry Bar in Provo, Utah. So you can let some of your Utah family members know. I believe you have some people in Utah. Do you not, Mike?
I do. They're not near Provo, but if that, I'll at least reach out. Yeah. I'll at least put the word out.
And Utah Jash, if you're in the area, come out.
Yeah.
And then I have Chicago on April 21st, Chandler, Arizona on April 25th, Boston, Mass on May 1st, and then a couple tentative ones. So keep an eye out if you're in the New Jersey area. Stress Factory is probably going to be on March 26th, which is a Thursday. And then looking at a club in Lowell, Arkansas, of all places. That would be June 19th and 20th. So a lot of fun stuff cooking here. It's been great to meet some of you or see some of you again at these shows. And that's what I got. I assume your tour is probably wrapped up or wrapping up at this point in Australia and New Zealand?
The Australia portion is concluding later today at the time of recording this, January 24th, for me in the future, is the show in Brisbane. But then I will be heading over to New Zealand. And by the time this comes out, some things might be going. So we've got a show on January 29th in Christchurch, February 1st in Wellington, and February 5th in Auckland, all those in New Zealand. And then I just recently announced some US dates, and they are all live in addition to those other tickets at thenewslympian.com/live, where I will be in Vienna, Virginia, which is close to DC. I will be in Berkeley, California. I will be in Denver, Colorado. I should give the dates. Vienna on March 15th, and then Berkeley on April 9th, and Denver on April 12th, and Atlanta on April 20th.
It's like Toronto. Not
I know,
Atlanta or
and
Toronto.
I've done
Yeah.
well to unlearn the way sports people say Toronto, and I
Exactly,
call
yeah.
it ToroNNo now. AtlaNNa is next on my list to do the same. I'm one by one getting better at these. So AtlaNNa on April 20th, Charlotte on April 21st, and Raleigh on April 22nd. So you can get tickets to all those at thenewsolympian.com/live. I'm also trying to add some more in between and before and after the Berkeley and Denver. I'm trying to do a couple of oh my gosh, no one ever comes here shows, but my tour guy basically locked in, you sell tickets really well in these two cities, and then you can try and do the other stuff. So once I am a little less busy with stuff over here, I'm going to start reaching out to venues in some other cities like Santa Fe, New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Oklahoma City, Sacramento. Like I'm going to try Boise, stuff like that.
Now,
so hopefully I can make it work.
Question for you. Do we think it's Sacramento or Sacramento? How do they say it?
Oh,
I've only ever heard Sacramento.
It's got to be the hard T, given that like I'm assuming the town is named after the Spanish word for sacrament, and that just
sounds
feels
right,
like.
yeah.
Because
I mean, I guess if it were French, you don't pronounce the T. Sacrament.
Sacrament, yeah.
Sacrament.
Look, I got to
I'm
make a show
working on
happen,
my
and then I can ask first question, be like, "Hello, everyone. Do I say the T or not?" But yes, you can get tickets to everything at thenewsolympian.com/live.
All right.
All right, I believe we have an MB Q&A. What do we got?
We do have an NB Q&A, and as always, we are sourcing more of them if you have them. So the easiest way to get them on the podcast is by reaching out to us at our email account, which is horsehoopspod@gmail.com, and we do give priority to our patrons, and that is where this question comes from. So Mark and Liz have a question for us. As this year's All-Star Game looms over us, I feel compelled to know if either Adam or Mike have an unhinged All-Star Game format they secretly love. My personal favorite is the format of Jalen's versus everybody else. Jalen Rose could be the
so
coach,
many now,
and all the spellings would be accepted. And I'll have to dictate this one. I'm looking at your Jalen, Jaylen. Now, the lineup of current Jalen's in the league is a bit on the small side, but I think the team unity of defending their literal names would make it fun. What do y'all think? Got anything weirder? The Jalen thing is awesome.
very compelling.
One thing I think would be fun that would probably never happen is like youth versus experience, like under 30 team, over 30 team.
That's
or
very
whatever
fun.
the middle ground would be. I'm assuming maybe, under 26, over 26, because it would be cool to see like all the old heads, like, LeBron, Curry, Harden, Durant, all those guys play against like SGA and Luca and all the people that are on the younger side. I think that would be a really cool format. What about you?
I think what they should do, because they're trying with this USA versus the world thing to engineer more animosity or reasons why the teams would want to actually compete against each other. I think the problem is that there's all these weird stipulations where you have to have a certain amount of players from America, a certain amount of players from not America, blah, blah, blah. Like there's all this complicated stuff going on. And it's weird because you could have a situation where someone is named an all-star who maybe shouldn't have got it, or on the flip, like someone gets snubbed just because they are the X number European or X number American or X number non-American, whatever it is. I think what they should do is just pick the all-stars and then get a team of dedicated experts to figure out how to make the two rosters of the two teams hate each other the most. So just like find a way, do all of the string on the cork board, just like spread them out and just be like, we have created two rosters that want to murder each other with basketballs, and just find a way to piece it all together. And that could be the young versus old. That could be, let's put everybody from the Thunder on one team and everybody from the Spurs on the other team. Like just do anything you can. Do like all the Venn diagrams of who hates who and just try to have the most overlap to where the two teams just absolutely hate each other.
Well, I have another idea that would branch off of that. Last year they did this thing where it was like, 3 separate squads from the All-Star players, and then the like young team that won the little tournament got to play. So it was like, I think rookies and I forget what the format was exactly. But what if instead of that, we had all the all-stars and then we put together like a 5 or 6 player team of just the biggest assholes, like all of the
like
agitators on one team.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks, Draymond Green. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Yeah.
You get Grayson Allen in there.
Grayson Allen. Yeah, that'd be pretty fun. You could also do a team of people making a lot of money team of people making not a lot of money. Like, let's Hunger Games it. Yeah, like high salary players versus low salary players could be good. Yeah, I think the key is get the players first, find the animosity after. Don't do it now where you're trying to like predetermine it. Like,
right.
Because then it feels forced. Like, get the players and find the real true beef. Discover the beef.
Discover the beef, indeed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But great question.
That's a fun question. Really good question.
And if you
really
have any fun ideas as you're listening to this, let us know. Send us an email, comment on the Patreon if you're
comment on the Spotify. You can
there.
comment if you're listening there.
Comment on it all.
A lot of options. Mm-hmm. Cool. Alrighty. Well, should we get now into full court press? Get it like the news.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Look, it's late January. The trade deadline approaches. There is going to be at least potentially a Jonathan Kuminga trade. There's been lots of really sassy stuff going on there. He officially made his trade demand, I believe, on January 15th, which is like the first day he was eligible to be traded. He let it be known, I am demanding a trade. And everyone turned over in their graves. And then there was like stuff that came out after where Mike Dunleavy Jr., who is a former player and the current GM, said something to the effect of, when someone makes a trade demand, there also needs to be demand for the trade in the market.
Absolutely,
which is just
cooked his ass.
I mean, just for the love of the game at this point, because if anything, they're making their asset look less good, like just hating for hating's sake.
Yeah, it's funny.
They just must despise this guy. Steve Kerr, in a recent post-game presser before they start asking questions, he goes, all right, here we go. A lot of Jonathan Kuminga questions. Let's get him out of the way. Like, they're not holding anything back.
And now the situation has gone from bad to worse because our beloved Jimmy Butler has torn his ACL and is out for the season. Which is a huge, huge blow for them.
Especially given how old he is, that's what sucks.
Yeah,
like
the injury's not funny, but
bounce back.
There was a very funny mic'd up situation where you could hear Buddy Hield and Jimmy Butler interacting on the sideline as he was injured. And I don't know if Buddy Hield was joking, but he was like, "Get up, man, we need you." And you just hear Jimmy Butler go, "Man, shut your bitch ass up."
They have a great poke fun at each other friendship.
Yeah, it was all
really
very
fun.
much in jest, and Jimmy Butler's joking around as he's like realizing the severity of his knee injury. But yeah, it's a tough one. I think everybody wants to see this final few years of Steph's career go the way we would like to, and it's not really lining up that way at the moment.
No, it's going to be interesting to see how they go, because this was kind of like we're not going to win the title, but like if everything breaks right, we could.
Right.
And they had been playing really well recently. And then Jimmy Butler getting hurt just kills it. I feel like they should not go the route of we can still try and make it work, because it's just not going to work. They would obviously have to get buy-in from Steph about this, but I feel like they should just try and do let's usher in the new era of Warriors basketball, and then have Steph be like Dirk on the late Mavericks, where it's just like, we're not great, Steph's still here.
Kobe on the Lakers when they were kind of struggling, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like I think to make the vibes better than those two teams, because the Lakers, they were like still trying, but they were just bad, and it was kind of embarrassing. Like, I feel like if Steph would be okay with it, if he doesn't want to do the thing where it's like late career, let me try and get another ring, it would be fun if the Warriors were like, we are fully invested in the future in a rebuild, but Steph Curry is also here. Could be really fun, but I don't know. I don't know.
One thing about
Steph's
Steph too that I haven't really thought of until this very moment is like, of all of the important stars in the game right now, with the exception, I guess, of Giannis, who I don't put on that level, Steph is really the only guy who's been with one team the whole time. Like, it would be, just even picturing him on a different team is like mentally jarring.
Yeah, it would feel worse than other people, because the thing is, he's had so much success in Golden State that he doesn't need to do it. So like when Damian Lillard left the Blazers to try and win a ring elsewhere, like that's fine. If Giannis does it, that's fine, because like, Dame didn't win anything with the Blazers. Giannis won one title with the Bucks, and the situations were more dire, I guess. I don't know. Like, ring chasing makes more sense. Like Kyle Lowry is a good example. He was on the Toronto Raptors for years and years and years. He's probably the most beloved Raptor. And then just wasn't working out timeline-wise. He went off to finish his career trying to win elsewhere. And then they are retiring his number. They're going to give him a statue. Like, they're doing the whole thing for him. They had a big emotional final game in Toronto because this is his last season. And
that was awesome. They were all like chanting for him to come into the game.
Really cool. Like, no one will think any less of him for not finishing his career there. It just like didn't work out. With Steph, like, I would hope, and I think this is just better for everyone involved, if he feels complacent enough with like, I got the rings, I got the MVPs, I got the final MVP, I got the gold medal at the Olympics. Like, I don't need to try and win a ring somewhere else.
He's done everything a person could do. Truly.
Yeah.
Nothing left.
So I think just ride it out, enjoy the vibes, be Mr. Bay Area, and just like truly cement yourself as Bay Area legend Steph Curry. Like, don't put on another jersey. I think he should do that. But that being said, I can fully understand someone wanting to have a shot at a title. So I get it. But I think it would be fun if you just rode it out. Just ride it out, man.
Yeah, but to your point, like, I get it more if someone hasn't won already.
Yes.
Like, he's already won a bunch of times.
So much that I think it should be okay. But I don't know. We'll see. Other things going on in the league. The Knicks and the Mavericks had a game in which Karl-Anthony Towns need Dwight Powell in the nuts at least twice, potentially 3 times. And on the last one, need him. And then in response, like in midair, Dwight Powell kicked him in the nuts back. Just like a wild confluence. Just I don't understand people doing this. It's just wild, but it was just weird. And I don't know. The Knicks have had a really rough vibe situation going of late, but when you beat a team by 54 points after a players only meeting, you kind of hope that the ship is righted. So we'll have to see where things go from here. But if there's anything that can make you forget about a really bad losing skid, it's winning by 54 points.
Yeah. And you know what? Shout out to Doug Lust, our buddy Doug, who's been carrying on. He's been steadfast even during the tough games. He's still putting up his musical recounts of the games. It's been a rough stretch for the Knicks, but as I always say, better for that rough stretch to happen now than in April or May, right? Get it out get it out of your system. Even the Thunder, as we talked about on the last episode, like, teams are going to go through slumps. It happens. Like, try to keep morale high. The sky is not falling. As we said on our, NBA yearly prediction episode, if this is how the Knicks had started the season, it would be chaos. But thankfully they didn't. It's happening in the middle. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, should be all right. Only other thing I can really think of with NBA news and stuff is there's been like weird rumblings coming out about the Lakers situation because of the whole Buss family, how they've been doing with the ownership. I don't know if something happened recently to spark it or if there was just reporting about it that came out and that's what's putting all these quotes out there. But the Lakers had something recently where like the Buss family owns the team and certain people are in charge of stuff and they fired other family members and it's all messy. And there has just been like reporting coming out about just that particular mess and then how that affects LeBron and Jeannie Buss not wanting to give LeBron a contract extension, considering trading him, thinking that drafting Bronny should have waxed over any sort of negativity that LeBron felt towards the situation. Then Jeannie Buss coming out and saying, oh, it's so unfortunate that LeBron is getting caught up in our family drama. I don't know, just messy over there. Even like the Lakers' current team, it's a weird, messy situation where like DeAndre Ayton is doing his thing where 50 games into the season, he's completely checked out. JJ Redick's upset at people. Luka's playing well, but selfishly and not playing defense. Getting messy in Lakerland in many different areas. The drama is burbling up like the La Brea tar pits.
Ooh, very, I don't even know what the word is. Very, what's the word for
Local
something
reference?
like sounds? Yeah, it's very evocative, makes me picture what you're talking about.
Yeah, doing what I can.
Good stuff.
But yeah, any Laker drama thoughts, or just the acknowledgement of its existence?
No, yeah. I mean, I've been seeing the same reports you have about Jeannie Buss being unhappy with certain like LeBron things and certain things that have transpired over the past few years. But like, this is why the Lakers are a perennial top 5 pick in the drama draft. There is never not drama with a LeBron team and with a big market team. Like it happens.
Especially with the LeBron final year thing, because it's looking more and more like I think his next season could be his last, unless he really wants to play 25 seasons, because that would sound really cool. Just like a fun, not round
I think
number,
he's waiting to
like...
play with his grandson.
But it's interesting because the contract situation is confusing. And is he going to stay? Is it going to be a big deal? Is he going to try to leave? Is he going to go to Cleveland? Whatever. It's just a interesting timeline of like his career ending and his place on the Lakers roster not making 100% sense. They're also doing a thing now where they're putting like season 23 patches on his jerseys, and then they're going to sell that in exclusive trading cards or put them into trading card packs with whatever company does it. And that's one of those things of like, are they doing this because it might be his last year? Are they just doing it because it's the 23rd season and his number is 23? The answer of why they're doing this is just to make more money on stuff, of course, because that's how America works now. It's just anything has to drive profit.
I continue to believe, and I would put a lot of money on this on Kalshi, which I've never used, but people do. If there were a bet of whether or not LeBron will just retire without, preemptively telling people the year before, or whether he's going to do like a farewell tour, I would put every penny that I have that he will not retire quietly.
I agree.
And arguably he shouldn't. He deserves his flowers. I get it.
He absolutely should not. He should let it be known. I think the league is heavily invested in him not doing it because they're going to want to really let it be known. Every team should want it because ticket sales will be through the roof. Like everyone involved is going to want to make a big deal of it.
Here's the only exception. If, and this is a huge if somehow the Lakers win the championship this year, he's got to retire.
Yeah.
He has to.
Right. Yeah. You got to just Tim Duncan right off in the sunset. Don't tell anybody. Yeah. If you win, just get out of there. You absolutely have to do that.
He still won't, but he should.
So yeah, I am very intrigued to see what happens with what team he ends up on and all of that. But I don't think this is the last season. When that patch thing came out, some people were like, oh, is this a sign that it's his last year? No way. Absolutely no way. I think there's going to be...
Yeah, and when the bullshit, I'm going to make another announcement came out, you and I both sniffed it out immediately.
Oh,
we're like, this
advertisement, 100%.
is an ad. And it was.
Shout
out to Hennessy.
And it was. Except not shout out. That was not fun. Don't play with our hearts like that. Okay. I think that concludes full court. Oh, only other thing. Unrivaled is going on in the W side of things, and it's fun. And I would recommend following their accounts on social media because the Unrivaled accounts do such a great job of just fun player content. They're having a great time. They're being silly. They're getting to play with new players. They're doing TikTok dances. The vibes around Unrivaled continue to be great. It's fun to see that league grow. Players are getting paid a lot. Like some people are getting paid more just for playing an Unrivaled than like the max rookie contract or something.
That's
like, and it's way shorter. Like,
well,
things
and
are
the
good
tickets
there.
are not
They're
cheap,
selling
like
more
on the
jerseys.
fan side.
Yeah,
Like,
I've never investigated.
Yeah.
Okay.
I looked into it just out of curiosity. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah. So it's good to see things going there, especially given like the looming lockout happening potentially with the WNBA. I think they again have extended their negotiations to where, I don't know when the new deadline is, but they basically push it back another month to try and figure stuff out. Look, competition breeds innovation. And I think if they have another league that is continuing to treat them really well, they have more reason to have the WNBA treat them well. So It's just really good to see everything go well with Unrivaled, and they're doing a lot of fun stuff. And it seems like people enjoy going to the games in person and watching them on TV and just following the league. It's super fun. The vibes are electric, and I have enjoyed it being a thing that exists so that in between WNBA seasons, we don't have so much nothingness. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice. with that complete, we can get into your 3-on-3, Adam.
1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. 3 on 3.
Yeah, let's do it. I feel like this was a recommendation from someone. I now cannot remember who it was. So if it was you, do feel free to let me know and I will give you your due credit. But for today, we are going to do a 3-on-3 of the best hobbies of current and retired NBA players.
Ooh, very fun. I like this.
Yes.
I like this.
Yes. So we're going to start with the retired players, and then we're going to move on to the active players. And by the way, there were so many great choices here that I didn't even get to talk about Pau Gasol apparently being a virtuoso violinist who has played with the LA Opera. Did you know that?
I knew that he was a violinist. I did not know he played with the LA Opera. That is fantastic.
It's also funny because people like the whole idea of like the tiny violin is a meme, but like Pau Gasol holding a normal violin is effectively a tiny violin, which is fun.
Yeah, he should arguably be using a viola and
and just holding it on his shoulder.
Just I think a viola you still hold in the same place. It's just chunkier, not a cello.
If Shaq were playing the flute, would you be like, is that a toothpick?
Yeah, Shaq, that's a whole nother situation.
Yeah. At number 3 on the list, we have another prolific musician, the late Wayman Tisdale, who sadly passed away at the young age of 44. But Tisdale was not only a solid NBA player who averaged 15.3 points and 6.1 rebounds per game in his 13-year NBA career, he was also a talented musician, so much so that his Wikipedia entry reads, quote, Wayman Tisdale was an American professional basketball player in the National Basketball Association and a smooth jazz bass guitarist, end quote. Towards the end of his playing career in 1995, Tisdale released his debut album called, get ready for it, Power Forward. You love to see it.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And this was on the Motown label, so this is not some like independent release. This is a huge record label. He would end up releasing 8 albums before his untimely passing, with his 2001 release Face to Face eventually hitting number 1 on the Billboard's contemporary jazz charts. At the time of his, it's very cool. At the time of his death from cancer, Tisdale had just embarked on a 21-date nationwide tour before it was cut short only a month later. He was remembered by musicians including Toby Keith, who I believe is a pretty terrible person, but a noted musician, and also Peter White, who added a note to his 2009 album sleeve stating, "To the memory of Wayman Tisdale, whose spirit never failed to brighten our lives. A very impressive career and life cut too short." Moving on to a more recognizable name to the casual basketball fan, the third member of the Big Three in Miami, along with LeBron and Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, is an extremely talented coder. I do remember,
he does look like a nerd.
He does look like a nerd for sure, and also kind of like a raptor. I do kind of remember hearing something about this vaguely, but I went back and I found an old op-ed that he actually wrote for Wired in 2013, where he goes into greater detail about his coding background and advocates for kids to learn how to code as well. So evidently Bosh had somewhat of a head start in the fact that his mom ran a business called Computer Help. So he grew up around computers in the 90s during a time where they weren't quite as ubiquitous as they are now. In high school, he joined a computer graphics club called Whiz Kids and joined the Association of Minority Engineers as well as the National Society of Black Engineers during his senior year. Nerd alert. Just kidding, but also not entirely. He went to Georgia Tech, where he played basketball, of course, and he left after his freshman season to turn pro, at which point basketball naturally had to become the focus. Nevertheless, he maintained his interest in coding and even talks in the article about how before tech became cool, he would get a lot of crap from teammates and from people and would get made fun of a lot. Nevertheless, he persisted, and he mentions that out of all of the ads and all the videos he was in over the years, his proudest moment was being in a video for a website called code.org. That was apparently very meaningful to him. It's honestly pretty dope that he didn't let anybody else's judgment of his passion get in the way of continuing to pursue it. And I say good on you, Chris Bosh. Pretty cool.
Well done, Chris Bosh. Love that.
All right. Admittedly, this one earns the top spot mainly because of how incredibly random it is. But did you know that Rajon Rondo is extremely good at Connect 4?
Yes, I did. I did know this.
I did
this
not
is
know
a
about
great.
this.
Oh, this is I love this one. I love this.
It's really good. So during his time on the iconic Celtics team with Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, the Celtics director of community relations, Matt Meyerson, was quoted as saying, "He just played Connect 4 against anybody who dared, usually 2 grids at a time and sometimes 3. This has been going on for 6 years. He's played hundreds of Connect 4 games, maybe 1,000, and he's never lost." Now, the funniest part about this is that Rondo would apparently challenge anyone and everyone to Connect 4, including children at charity events, and would show absolutely no mercy and just obliterate
Correct.
them. So
Yeah.
apparently he finally lost one game, and this is my favorite part of the whole anecdote because it sounds like some like Michael Jordan, I took that personally type stuff. I'm going to read directly from this Bleacher Report article that I found, and I'll share the link, but it's too amazing for me to paraphrase it. All right, this is how it goes. Olyssa was the last challenger. He stared back at Rondo through wire-rimmed glasses. He clenched teeth covered with braces. He initiated what he called a trap, forcing Rondo to the right side of the grid, putting him on the defensive. When Olyssa dropped the winning disc, Celtics officials started to shout. Meyerson grabbed the microphone. Quote, "This has never happened," he bellowed. "I can't believe it," Rondo said. "But did you notice I played the guy 5 more times and won them all? I had to show him, you beat me, I'll beat the shit out of you." This is a child. It's like an 11-year-old kid who beat him at Connect 4 and he could not handle it.
That's really good. That's good.
It's pretty
Yeah,
great.
because Connect 4 is a solved game. It's like tic-tac-toe, where if you know the particular strategy, algorithm, etc., you can never lose if you know what you're doing. Like you have the
Right.
opportunity to never lose as long as you know enough. So as an NBA player, it's perfect if you want to just dominate your teammates, bet the money, etc. So I guess there's just a certain point where Rondo learned how to never lose a Connect 4 and then just rocked with it. And yeah,
love it.
that's so fun. So good.
It's pretty
so good.
All right, let's move on to the current NBA players, starting with number 3, journeyman Dennis Schroeder, who is such a talented skateboarder that in a very specific niche community of Reddit, he is referred to as Dennis Shredder, which is perfect.
Really good. This one I knew about, and it's wild
Yeah.
to me. I would assume any team that signs a contract with him is like, and if you hurt yourself skateboarding, kick rocks, bud. This
Totally
is
agree.
wild to me that a professional athlete that is still ongoing could also do such a dangerous sport.
Exactly. I literally wrote, I wonder if any of he's been on 10 NBA teams, and I have to assume that at least a chunk of them, if not all of them, had a very specific stipulation in the contract banning him from skateboarding because, like, of all of the hobbies that we're talking about here, this was really the only one where I was like, oh yeah, that could easily injure you for basketball purposes. Like if you have
Yeah,
a Connect
it'd be
4
really bad.
injury, you should just stop living, I think. I don't think sports is beyond it. But yeah, so Dennis Schroeder, aka Dennis Shredder, there's a video of him that I'll share, but he's really freaking good. And apparently that was his first love. He grew up in Germany, the son of a German father and a Gambian mother, which is a very interesting combination. But Dennis and his brother were obsessed with skateboarding until he found basketball at 11 and subsequently changed his focus. Based on the footage, though, it does not look like he lost his edge. Like he is very, very smooth, and he's like doing tricks and doing jumps, and it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. I'll have to check him out. Love it.
Yeah. At number 2 on our list, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the coffee god himself, Jimmy Buckets. As
Yeah.
well documented on this podcast and everywhere else, Jimmy launched his Big Face coffee company in 2020 and was famously charging $20 per drink in the NBA bubble during COVID lockdowns with his French press machine and whatever else he had going on there. According to Jimmy himself,
I think it was like a full-fledged espresso machine. Like I think
Was
he
it?
brought a big, I think it was a
Okay.
big hunkin' thing. Yeah.
well, hey, if anyone can afford a $20 cup of coffee, it's a bunch of other NBA players.
100%.
I would hope if there was like a cleaning woman who was like, I'd love a cup of coffee, he was not like, that'll be $20. But, you know,
I think he wouldn't do that. I would
hope not. But according to Jimmy himself, his love of coffee started in London, of all places, which, like, I don't know. I think of London as more of a tea place than a coffee place, but I guess they've gotten into
Certainly.
coffee. I was just there. People are into coffee there. But he got really into the coffee scene. He would apparently just go from like shop to shop, trying everything out. I'll share the GQ article where he goes into greater detail. But there's still a brick and mortar Big Face Coffee location in Miami, where Jimmy, of course, spent many years
cool.
playing for the Heat, and you can order it online as well. Sponsorship idea? I say, why not?
Look, they make good
Apparently.
stuff. They have a flavor of coffee flavored ice cream with Van Leeuwen's, which is in New
That's a
York
collab I can
City,
get on board
and
with.
the Big Face Coffee one.
I bet
is
it's
really
only
good.
$20
I
per
think
pint,
it's specifically
just like Jimmy would want.
It's the same price as all the regular stuff, but it's really good. I think it's specifically Big Face Affogato flavor. It's really good, and I'm a big coffee ice cream guy. And
That sounds good.
It's good stuff.
All right, finally at number one, this one won't be a huge shock, and most hoop heads know about this one, but longtime Indiana Pacer and current Milwaukee Buck Miles Turner is really into Legos, like extremely into them. I'll share some articles and videos of his expansive collection, but the dude is obsessed. This was honestly probably the hardest part of moving all of his shit if he moved when he went from Indianapolis to Milwaukee. I think he has like a forever home in Texas or something like that. But I particularly enjoyed this very blunt quote from a Slam magazine article all about his hobby, where he says, "People think it's gimmicky having Legos around the house. I actually do this shit, bruh. It's fun for me. I do this shit all the time." His collection is
That's good.
outrageous.
I like
We're
it.
talking everything from a full-scale basketball arena made out of Legos to Cinderella's castle to a WWE belt to the home from Home Alone. It's genuinely absurd. It's also very valuable. Like Legos are one of those things like Pokemon cards that like I wouldn't have anticipated in the 90s that they would have the staying power that they do. But I think especially during COVID, like a lot of other collectibles, those things really, really went up in value. So, I mean, it's also possibly part of his retirement plan. Not that he needs the extra money, but there's a ton of stuff about his obsession with Legos, and it is genuinely very impressive. It's like, it's clear that he must spend an inordinate amount of time doing this.
It's the perfect rich person. Like, he seems like a normal-ish dude, but like it's the perfect thing of like, I'm more normal now. I have a ton of money. What am I going to do? Because like the only limiting factor for me not doing way more Legos is money. Like I would gladly do Legos instead of watching TV, scrolling my phone. Like I would, if I could just constantly Lego. Yeah. But they are so expensive, especially those big sets are multiple hundreds of dollars, like $500 for some of the big ones and stuff. And if you just made millions of dollars and you could just do it and no big deal, for sure do it. And then you're right. There's things where like they make certain sets and then they stop making them, and like you can even sell like a pre-owned, even I already made it and I put the pieces all back in the box. Like one of my Johnny like flipped, I think it was the first Stranger Things Lego set, because they like made one and then the show took off and it was like, oh my gosh, they don't make this set anymore. And he somehow learned that it was worth like hundreds of dollars, and he was like, I don't care. Like, so they broke it down and put it in the box and resold it for way more. And they bought other Legos with it. Like, yeah, it's like I guess it's almost like sneakers, where, you know, you can like buy them and then just wait and then resell and all this stuff. Yeah. I look forward to the era in which my daughter's doing Legos. I slightly dread the price tag of it, but I at least now look forward to the justification, because like I want to get expensive Legos, but I'm like,
when I was
do
a
I
kid,
need this now? When I can be like, the
my
daughter
dad
needs
was the
it.
one who was like, more so than we were, he was the one who wanted to play with the Legos. I think he wanted to vicariously enjoy the experience. That I think I would be shocked if my dad had Legos as a poor child growing up in India. I do not think that was part of his childhood, so I think he very much enjoyed it as a dad. But that is my 3-on-3. I want to give a special honorable mention, of course, to Pau Gasol, the violinist, to Clay Thompson, who's apparently quite good at chess, to Jarrett Allen, who builds computers. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. You want to talk about someone who looks like a nerd?
Yeah.
Oh,
and I want to give
Allen,
absolutely
baby.
no special mention to LeBron James for being into wine. Get a better personality, dude.
Yeah, there's too many. No one that is a big wine person, that's not good. No one that's a big watch person, that's not good. No one that's
it can't be like this person likes cars. Like, of course, that's what rich people like. That was part of my stipulation for this list.
Right, because even as much as I want to talk about how expensive Legos are, like, Rolexes are like as much as automobiles. Like, it's like $40,000. Like, I thought they were expensive. I didn't realize they
outrageous.
were like, that's 2 Priuses. Like, it tells time. What are we talking about? It's a clock on your hand.
Priuses tell time too. They have clocks in there.
Yeah, they got a clock in there. The craftsmanship. Like,
clock.
I don't care how well crafted this thing is. $40,000. Like, I think expensive watches are just tricking men, and like, power to the world, because like
Those are
Yes. How could you wear
That's
something?
one of those things
I
where
don't
I'm like,
understand.
even in
I
a
don't
world
understand.
where somehow I had an absurd amount of money, there's no way I would have a watch that was more than like, I don't know, a couple $1,000s maybe.
I think if I have a watch with a comma in it, I'm out. Like I don't know. All of mine are like $100 and less, and I have like 2. Like, or 3. Oh, sorry. JJ Redick over here. No, like to his defense, this is one of my favorite things. He got really into it and then had to like cold turkey. He talked about this when he was a podcaster. He like cold turkey was like, I got rid of every single watch and I just kept one and I'm not allowed to get watches anymore.
You got addicted to them.
Because like I totally get this. Like when I first started to get like some nice sneakers, like once you get into one of those kind of hobbies, it's like really hard to get out because then you learn like what the best ones are and the rarest ones are. And it's one of those things like 99% of people have no idea that like this particular colorway of Jordans are very expensive, but then like some people know. And then if you have them, it's like, whoa, you have those. And like 99% of other people will be like,
exactly.
Shoes.
Yes.
It's like I don't know. You look at a Rolex and I'm like, okay, cool. Like they do look nice. I do get it. But like before I learned that they were $40,000, I never would have thought they could have gone more than 5,000 in my wildest dreams. It's just wild to me. So confusing. Anyway,
that's my 3 on 3. That concludes it. What do you got for that actually happened?
So that actually happened is something that I learned about last night. I had a different thing that I was going to do, and then I learned about this in a conversation with Polly Burge, longtime supporter of the show. And
just
Polly
reflectively, almost like in a Pavlovian way, I just want to say Salvatore Testa.
Salvatore Testa, yeah, it's really good. But Polly has been the guest at a lot of these Australia live shows, so she joined me for the first 3, and then is also here in Brisbane, is going to run the merch table, do the Q&A and everything. But we were hanging out last night watching the Australian Open on TV, and we're talking about how I had this episode of Horse to record the next morning, and then I was like, I'm doing it. That actually happened. And she was like, have you ever considered doing one about how the Illawarra Hawks for a long time weren't allowed to be called the Illawarra Hawks, and they were just the Hawks, and everyone got mad, and then they like put their city name back on, and it's still kind of shaky. So it's this wild story.
Where is that city?
So Illawarra, I think it's technically more of a region than like an actual city, but it is the region in the southeastern portion of New South Wales, which is the state where Sydney is. So I don't know that it's actually a city. It might be. I'm kind of confused. From what I've been reading about it, it feels more like a region. But so I guess maybe think of if like the Golden State Warriors, for example. Like there's no city called Golden State. And then there's like the Bay Area. There's no city called the Bay Area, but like it's still like a very distinctive place there.
Region.
Let me preface all of this by saying, if I say anything wrong about Illawarra, the Illawarra, Australia, it is 1, because I am not from here, and 2, because I learned about this last night and I was like, this is too cool not to cover, and it's so fitting given that I'm here in Australia and I want to share it, but like I don't know, I did not do like copious amounts. There's this really good article that I'm going to use for reference. It's on a website called The Pick and Roll, and it's by Jed Wells, and it's titled The Redacted Hawks Inside Illawarra Basketball's Identity Crisis. So this was written in 2021, and what sparked this particular article, or at least something that brings this more into our mind in NBA world, is that this is the team that LaMelo Ball played for, because LaMelo Ball did not go to college because education was not really an emphasis for LeVar onto him. He played overseas in Australia in the NBL for 1 year, and he was on the Hawks. Like he was not on the Illawarra Hawks. He was on the Hawks.
So is this before there was like the G League Ignite or whatever?
Yeah, so this was 2020. So this is kind of like what sparked them making the G League Ignite, because you had Emmanuel Mudiay and LaMelo Ball do this thing where it's like, in Mudier's case, I think he cheated on the SATs or something and they found out, and then he couldn't play for whatever school he was supposed to go to, and then played in Australia. And then LaMelo did the same thing, where like the NBL is like a legit league, and I guess they were fine with people kind of doing this to bring more notoriety to it. And, look, LaMelo put butts in seats for sure. So this article opens with talking about how when LaMelo Ball was drafted, it listed that he played for the Illawarra Hawks, because usually it'll say from University of Kentucky or from whatever French team a French player plays for example. And it said Illawarra, LaMelo Ball, but at the time that he was drafted, they weren't the Illawarra Hawks. They were just the Hawks. And this article goes into more about how that all went down. So there is a guy by the name of Matt Campbell, who the way he's described in this article is ex-Illawarra Hawks general manager and player. I don't know if that means he was the general manager and player at the same time. I think it means he played for the team and then was the general manager. But I like to imagine that he was playing and then trading his teammates. I want to live in the world where he was the player GM. So what he has said about it is that he's not sure that they will be the Illawarra Hawks again. I believe this is being written when they are just the Hawks. So currently, right now, at the time, they're just Hawks. I think they are now back as the Illawarra Hawks, but when this was written in 2021, they were in this period where they are just the Hawks. And at the time of writing this, he wasn't sure that they would ever return to it. He says, quote, "The owners went, if we're going to fight for the Illawarra name to come back, we want to see a bit of faith come back from the Illawarra." So he was GM during this tumultuous period, and it happened in which the Illawarra name was removed from the team name. So if the Los Angeles Lakers just became the Lakers and that's it. So the NBL released this statement. It was an official statement. It said, quote, "They would go by the name of the Hawks as they look to expand their footprint across New South Wales and beyond." So it seems like it was this marketing move to try and branch out and get more fans than just in the Illawarra region, which I don't know if things are different in Australia, but just because a team is reference of a particular city, I feel like there's no limiting in that people wouldn't root for them. I don't know. It's a weird, seems like a weird move to me.
Yeah, that would be like changing the Brooklyn Nets to the tri-state area Nets. It's we'll attract so many people from Connecticut and New Jersey now. I don't think that would matter.
Yeah. Right. And from the little research that I did with it, it seems like this was a decision by the league and maybe the new ownership group, because it feels like the league, when they sold the team, they were oh, and now they should just be the Hawks for broader appeal, because there's a quote from this GM Campbell who says, quote, "The NBL didn't see that big of a deal in it because they didn't fully understand the market where we are and the importance we put on the Illawarra as people living in the Illawarra." So this is what Campbell said. He said that the league mandated that any new ownership group remove the city from the team's name. They didn't realize that this would have such a negative reaction from the fan base. Their goal was to broaden support for the Hawks, and they were trying to increase revenue and everything, but it just feels like a decision made with no foresight about what would happen. Campbell continues to say, "Initially, when we first took the game to Canberra, which is the capital, so it's near the New South Wales region, but it's a different state, I believe, but it's not too far away, a couple-hour drive to Sydney, which is the most populous city in New South Wales. Initially, when we first took the game to Canberra, the idea was to potentially get some membership and sponsorships, but we quickly worked out that you're not going to get a whole lot of outside regions supporting if it was just the games in their area. The concept of it was what we were already trying to achieve. The delivery and the understanding of the logistics of it is totally different. We spent 2 years trying to understand that space and worked out that wasn't the way to do it. We did a fair bit of work in that space, but because it happened so late, the ownership group were only given the approval in July. It didn't leave a lot of time. So I don't know. It's just this wild, bizarre move that completely blew up in their face. And it wasn't just the fans. Also, businesses got really upset. There was a local pub called the Illawarra. They removed the location from their name. There was, I guess, another team, the Illawarra Mercury. They launched a campaign for the NBL to put it back. They had this put it back campaign. Oh, no, just kidding. The Mercury feels like that's a news publication because it says, according to Mercury editor Julian O'Brien. My apologies. Okay. I'm just the Mercury felt like it's oh yeah, maybe they're the Illawarra's different sport team.
Like Phoenix Mercury.
Yeah, sure. So there are just so many people very upset by this, and just the ownership didn't seem like they were ready to listen about this because they continued on. So in November, they launched this campaign called Illawarra Proud, trying to see if there would be fan support in bringing the name back. It was put on social media platforms, and they said that they would commit to returning the Illawarra name if they gained 4,379 members for the 2020/2021 season. Members,
and not a member less.
Season ticket.
Such a specific number.
Yeah. Well, here's what it is. It's for the franchise having 43 consecutive seasons in the NBL going back to their origin in 1979. That's what's wild. This team existed for 43 years, and you're like, actually, we're not the New York Knicks anymore. We're just the Knicks. Like, the team's been around for over 40 years. How could you think this was going to be
other than
okay?
changing the name of a team because it's like something that is not aged well or is offensive, like, you know, the now Cleveland Guardians or Washington Commanders or something like that. I've never heard of something where they change the name of the location, like changing the team name, sure, or logo or whatever. But yeah, it's very odd.
Yeah. So they launched this campaign. They know it's a big number. They're trying to get people to support it. And the NBL was approached for comment about it. They declined, and they just said, please see our other statements. So maybe they don't like this whole thing. And Campbell said that he understood the intent behind trying to remove it and the campaign afterwards, and he thinks that the fans will make it happen. He had this quote saying, you know, it's all about sustainability and trying to look at the long-term goals and all this kind of stuff. There's another team called the Dragons that have 18,000 members, and they're trying to get to a point where they can be more supportive, but I don't know. Like, the new ownership group just seems out of touch. Their ownership group is made out of someone who used to own another team in the league, the Sydney Kings. And also, this was the thing that had me really excited, another member of this ownership syndicate is Brian Colangelo, the NBA's
the Suns?
Brian Colangelo, like the guy who did the big collars Sixers thing, like Brian Colangelo.
Yeah.
The guy
I think he was associated with the Phoenix Suns at some point, right?
Some point, but like he's like what we did episode 1 of Horse about, like the burners and the tanking Sixers and the firing Sam Hinkie, like find a new slant. Brian Colangelo, he is one of the owners. So like completely unsurprising. But yeah, when Paulie told me about the story and I found this article and I was kind of scrolling through it, once I saw Brian Colangelo's name, I was like, we're doing this. We got to do it. Like, of course he's involved. Of course he is involved.
How do you spell Illawarra, by the way?
Illawarra. Illawarra.
Is that like an indigenous name?
That I believe so. And I'm sure that is probably adding extra disgust to this.
Right, because even if it's not intentional, if it seems like you're trying to remove a name that's like important to people of a certain culture, even if it's like fully not the intention, I could see that also like causing drama.
Right. And there's a quote by someone in the ownership group who said what the NBL was trying to do was give us or any potential investor into the Hawks the opportunity to expand its footprint and to see whether this team could be a regional team. So I guess they were, I don't know, trying to like expand to the entirety of New South Wales instead of just part of it. But I don't know if that's something that's normal. It also to me feels a little bit like they were trying to do the thing where like a sponsor buys the name, kind of like how there's like the Red Bulls in the MLS. Yeah. Like it felt like they were trying to be the Arnott's, which is a popular brand of snacks here. Like, were they trying to be the Arnott's Hawks? Like, was something supposed to happen there and it fell through? Like, I'm sniffing
the Tim Tams.
Right. Hey, Arnott's makes Tim Tams. So there you go. Good job. They make a lot of good snacks. They make Tim Tams. They make mint slices. They make shapes. They make a lot of good stuff. Shout out to Arnott's. Please sponsor me. Shapes. It's like crackers, but they're so good and they come in different shapes. So they have one flavor
like
that's
animal
barbecue
crackers,
and it's
but
like
savory.
Yeah. So there's like a barbecue flavor, a pizza flavor, a chicken crimpy flavor, which it's like a little like crimped circle and it's chicken flavored. Really good stuff. They have a Vegemite and cheese flavor in the shape of Australia, and it's really good. Their tagline is for shapes in particular, flavor you can see, which you can. And they spell flavor with a U, so you know they mean business.
Sure. Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Yeah. So they remove the name. I would have to like have an update because this article was like while they were still nameless, but at the time of writing this, they were still trying to get more people to join the membership, and hopefully that would be enough to justify them bringing the name back. They're relying on the fans, and they're trying to see like, will we make this name come back? I'm gonna quick look up just to see what's up with the naming thing, because I feel like they gotta have it back. Let me look real quick. Yeah, so in February of 2021, the NBL agreed to allow the club to be renamed the Illawarra Hawks after their successful campaign by the new owners to boost membership and corporate support. So I guess they got a lot of people talking about them, but it all worked, all according to plan. We just had a 2-year little thing where we weren't the Hawks, and now we're back, and we have more members, and it's all good, and we have more money. Hello. So that is the tale of how the Illawarra Hawks were the _ Hawks, and then they came back to the Illawarra Hawks, and I've never heard of a team ever doing this before. Ooh, the Mamawala. The Illawarra Mamawalas, though, could also be in play. Maybe the problem is the Hawk portion. Let's try changing that name. But yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing that actually happened in the NBL. Thanks for listening to this episode of Horse. Horse is hosted by Anna Mamawala and Mike Schubert. This episode was edited by Mike Schubert. The music is by Bettina Capamanes. The art is by Alison Wakeman. The website is by Aurelia Lieb. And the social media is by both of the Horse Boys.
Thank you to our producer level patrons, Polly Bird, Salvatore Testa, Siobhan Ellsbury, Don't Go Chasing Taco Falls, Bang, Bang, Roast Beef Debris, Denver Steam Nuggets, Anna Reed, Steph Curry has a new shoe sponsor.
I don't know a Swiss accent enough to say bang in a Swiss accent because On is a Swiss brand. So just... I
guess whatever Roger Federer sounds like?
I don't know. So just bang in a Swiss accent.
Fair enough. Chase Underulo, Naked Rachel, Sidney Crosby as a vampire, Chelsea's cousin, Ginger Spurs Boy, Balls to the Walls, Mats Furley, Utah Jash, and Derry Bird. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Horse Hoops and on Twitter at Horse_Hoops because...
Horse Hoops, the account's actually run by Brian Colangelo, who was like, get Illawarra out of that team name.
Yes, it was actually originally a Twitter account called @Illawarra Horse Hoops, and it was removed, and just a lot of contentiousness, and it had to be done. You can go to our website, horsehoops.com, for links to the many things we discussed today, including some videos of Dennis Schroeder, aka Dennis Shredder, and Miles Turner's extensive Lego collection.
Yeah, and if you want to support the Horse Boys, you can do so in a couple of ways. You can go to patreon.com/horsehoops. You can see the video recording of this episode. You can check out our other bonus content. You can see what we maybe would have titled the episodes. There's all fun stuff there. You get the episodes without the inserted ads as well. And you can also go to horsehoops.com/merch to get Subnerds It's Basketball merch of all different types. But we're going to close this episode out as we always do by putting our hands in the middle and saying something on the count of 3. What are we thinking? How are we feeling?
Well, as we record this on January 23rd, yesterday was Deb Mamawala's birthday. So it's only fair that Deborah, consistent and loyal horse listener, gets a shout out. So if you want to say a happy birthday, Mrs. Mamawala or Deb, I'll give you the Deb, and I'll
happy
say
birthday,
happy birthday,
yeah.
Mom. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Just
I'll
for
say
the
happy
syllables.
birthday, Deb. You say Mom. Yeah. Keep it simple. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday,
Deb.
Mom. Happy belated by the time you're listening to this, but.
Or if you're in Australia too, where it's like we're way past birthday. Oh, it has been stressful wishing people happy birthday during this time. Yeah. It's like, I gotta wait until it's math has been.
But the good news is, if anything, you'll be wishing them a happy early birthday.
Right, but then it's this weird thing of like, what time is it over there? Like it doesn't always line up. It's been a bit.
That is one thing that I've noticed about international travel is like I'm so alert of like when I'm sending emails or texts. So unless it's like, you and our buddy Chris, who it feels like kind of fair game to just send whenever. But if it's like a business thing, I don't want someone to get the email that I sent at 9 a.m., but they're getting it at 3 in the morning.
Right. Yeah. It's always tricky. It's always tricky. Always tricky.
Anyway.
Bye.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.